Recently, our media, government, and a select group of multi-billionaires have told us that if we have a COVID outbreak, we need to lock down the entire world and start a chain reaction that is now causing global famine. Lock down, destroy the economy and the food supply, and starve everyone. Why is that better than a COVID outbreak? So our central planners are now telling us we need a reset because those central planners have botched up everything they can botch up. World economies and currencies are failing. Natural resources have been depleted. The polluting products and chemicals they all sell to us are poisoning everyone. And they have now borrowed more money than they can ever pay back. Whoever has been running things, it is now quite clear that they are not capable of doing so. They're trying to tell us that the big solution for their corrupt, dysfunctional, and collapsing system is to force us into a central bank currency which doubles as a mass surveillance platform and a behavioral control apparatus. So everything any central planner has ever done has now failed, whether the central planners are the banks, the regulators, the lawmakers, the president, the billionaires, the secret societies, whoever has been planning and controlling policy, all of them have failed. And they are telling us we should trust them to drum up some kind of reset as if they had any clue how to do that. Are we so stupid that we cannot see it is time to clean house? When we have all these crises, financial crises, social crises, political, environmental, an escalating war, when everything goes into a crash dive at the same time, one thing you always see is famine, starvation, mass starvation. Whether we like it or not, that becomes the big issue. In both of our world wars, more people died of starvation than any other cause. More people died of disease because when you're starving, you get sick. As a species, we have not yet learned that no matter what goes wrong, we have to protect the food supply. As if it is some kind of normal evolution, we're being told to get ready to stop eating meat and start eating bugs. Why would anyone say something like that if we were not heading into a famine? Global production and distribution of food has been severely damaged. If we don't start making food and rebuilding global distribution, a large portion of humanity is going to die, and the rest of us are going to experience a plummeting standard of living. Social justice issues will be swept away in the chaos created by global food shortages. Global-scale famines may even be intentional for a few sick eugenicist billionaires, but for the rest of us, it's going to be a very dark period in our lives. We are going to need food. Our esteemed policymakers who got us into this mess should be doing nothing but finding ways to enable and support farmers. Every farmer, down to the backyard gardener. Any public policy which reduces food production and supply has got to go. Every new regulation and law, every conversation among those idiot planners, every day on the news media, we should be hearing about how we are going to deal with the food shortages now that our central planners have driven the whole system into the ditch. No more precautionary killing off of millions of food animals. No more throwing away of millions of gallons of milk because it wasn't pasteurized. No more taking of water supply from farmers because the creeks are drying up. Too bad. We have to bring some balance back to our self-preservation. This is what they call triage. We have to make some hard choices so we don't starve. Whether you know it or not, the most important thing is the human race. You know why? Because we are humans. For decades now, our schools have been teaching children that they are not as important as nature. Well, we are part of nature, so saving the human race is at least as important as saving anything else. We're going to have to re-educate those children very fast. We're going to have to make food, even if we have to break something to do it. In that COVID fiasco, for some reason, supply chains were destroyed. Farmers were financially destroyed. Agricultural infrastructure was destroyed. Water was taken away from farmers. Food distribution facilities were burned down. And the consequences of all of that are now about to come crashing down around us. Our central planners have messed up so bad that it simply does not matter whether we get a Democrat or Republican in some office. It is about whether we can turn this ship around. and get something done in regard to food production, processing, transportation, and distribution in a great big hurry. That's it. And if you can find some dirt, grow something that you can eat, or help someone do that. If you know someone who knows how to farm, find out what you can do to help them. Our corrupt institutions distracted us with a lot of stuff that did not matter, and we dropped the ball. We must never allow anything to mess with our food supply. It's not easy to grow, process, and deliver food, much harder than most people know. And right now, a large percent of our global food production and distribution has been systematically destroyed, and a lot of that seems to be intentional. It looks like the time has come when we see our central planners, the authorities, doing something stupid. We have to say something, do something. We need to take charge. What other choice do we have?